Hi, thank you for accessing today's webinar. For a bit of housekeeping, please note that you can email questions throughout the presentation. Our speaker will try to answer all that he can during the presentation, but if he doesn't get to your question, please know that he or another BIC associate will provide an answer to all questions after the conclusion of today's program. To introduce our speaker today is Bob Graham. Bob is a noted healthcare journalist of 15 years and respected marketing consultant. That being said, Mr. Graham, I'll hand it over to you.
Thanks, Joe. I'm really excited to introduce our speaker today. He's someone who I've come to know as a really reliable source on insurance stories. In fact, one time he predicted something that was completely outlandish in my mind. And I used it in the story, wrote it in the headline, and sure enough, the paper comes out on a Friday morning, and later Friday, what he predicted actually was true, which made me look good. In addition to being my friend, he's someone who has a keen understanding of insurance issues, and he's worked with regulators, consumers, trade groups, just about every group you can imagine. And that colors how he goes about what he does. He's innovative, he's creative, and he's inspirational. I think you're going to see that in a couple of minutes. I'm really excited to introduce to you Roger Bain.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate the kind words, and greetings to all of our attendees. In this business, I know how busy all of you have become, especially since March 23rd, 2010. So I'd like to personally thank all of you for the compliment of your attendance today. Welcome to Benefit Indemnity Corporation's brief webinar. We're going to call it BIC from here on out just because it's a lot easier for you and for me to say it. We hope today to lend some significant advantages designed to support your business by delivering critical expertise, technology, and to make your job easier with innovative strategies and product options for you and your clients. Remember, at BIC, our sole mission and reason to exist is to help brokers and producers find greater success. You know, I mentioned that dreaded date of March 23rd, 2010 a few moments ago, and I'm pretty sure all of you recognize this as the passage of Obamacare. And since then, we've been working so hard to figure out the rules that many, or even most of us, have had to change our business activities just to keep up. I know I've spent half of my waking hours studying, reviewing, and learning the regulations of Obamacare so that we can understand how to go about succeeding in business amidst these new rules. But this hurts new sales, customer service, and even causes us sometimes to lose accounts because we're too busy. You are working harder than ever before and making less money. It just doesn't make sense. Every single day, you and I worry about intricate rules and ever-changing regulations that keep coming back to haunt you. It seems we are buried in paperwork more than ever before with no end in sight. And I'm here to say, don't get 6 feet deep in this mess. What used to be an annual discussion has become a daily disease. The PPACA virus infects every American citizen. This means your clients have the same symptoms. And for your customer, the most lethal symptom they have is the perception that they must become the miracle cure for their employees. Remember, this is a warning for you and for your clients. The messenger gets shot. Cure the disease and you get a Nobel Prize. Let's try and be the cure. And finding a cure for this disease requires new solutions every single day. And solutions to problems of this magnitude take great study and great experience. As we approach nearly 3 decades amidst the great healthcare reform debate and experiment, from within the health insurance industry, we've tackled nearly every role in the business. So we're well studied in the woes and benefits of our industry. At BIC, we strive to help you become the cure for your customers. To do that, we absolutely have to start curing the disease rather than treating individual symptoms. To cure this disease, we really have to deliver during every step of the process for all the stakeholders, and all while helping you build, sustain, or grow your successful broker sales operation. We are all tired of paper applications from multiple carriers. So at BIC, we decided to tackle that first by providing a single enrollment portal where we can help you collect all employee data one time, and then we can actually map that data to the applications of virtually any health plan carrier mechanics, self-funded, data in a census format, anything you need. But we collect all of that data at once so that we have your enrollment process out of the way. We call that our self-funded exchange marketplace, but don't be fooled just by that. Because if the group stays fully insured because they just don't find value in the markets of self-funded, we still have the data in our system and we're ready to be able to help use that to get you on the way wherever the client needs to go. This single enrollment portal then lends us the ability to provide a comprehensive risk analysis that supports the decision and your recommendations to your client. Whether the group is suited for self-funded plans or fully insured plans, when we finish the enrollment process, finally we'll know where they belong. Before trying to make the grueling decision of which plan to buy, enroll first. Win the case right now. Decide what your client wants later. This is the true consultative selling with all the tools you need to do it. Now let's review that for a moment. We have to talk about that whole new paradigm. I'm talking about now asking you to enroll your group first and beat the competition right there at that stage. You're not going to make the decision on what they're going to buy until you've done a risk analysis, until you understand the actual cost and exposure for that group, and then can find from various underwriters to make the best offer. Take that approach, and I think you've changed the game plan. So we find the best offer that we can find, support that decision with real information, and make the most appropriate strategic benefit plan possible. At your direction, based upon your client's needs, we scour the market to find the best possible options for you. Now we know, as you do, that not all of your clients are happy about the employer mandate. Many of your landscaping, hospitality, cleaning services, restaurants, and a lot of other industries are faced with a new burden to provide valuable and affordable care or face steep penalties under PPACA. Those groups too need solutions, and they need significant solutions very quickly. These groups are faced with significant new numbers of employees, often of low income, that must be offered something affordable. But the employer has no experience data, no negotiating leverage, no cooperation from the insurance industry, and very little cooperation from his employee population. In response to that, BIC has developed specific products to provide guaranteed issue of specialized, lower-cost, self-funded programs for businesses faced with new challenges like this. These types of challenges can find solutions. You just have to dig a little deeper. And yet some groups will still need more flexibility, so we work to develop multiple solutions to a single employer to offer coverage for every employee, possibly even to as low as 25% of that employee population. But we're not talking about voluntary plans that you keep hearing about. We're talking about problem-solving, minimum value plans that are affordable and flexible enough to solve great problems for many groups while complying with PPACA's benefit mandates to deliver valuable and affordable coverage to your employees, but we do it for so much less. That's not all we do. We also offer coverage for all types of employees, from white collar with rich competitive benefits to construction trades that need solid retention to keep their best, to the base plans aimed at PPACA compliance. We work hard to offer the widest selection of small group self-funded plans anywhere, and we do it with a single enrollment portal that you can use year over year. Even if the carrier or the TPA changes, data that we collect this year is still there for you. We use it for electronic enrollment throughout the year, and when it comes time to renew, your job is infinitely easier. A simple update is all we need to do the second time around. We all know compliance is a huge issue today. We support that functionality as well. With professional legal support at hand at all times, BIC can support the little stuff and refer the more complex legal questions to direct legal counsel with specific experience in knowing exactly what you and I do for a living. And that's refreshing, I'll tell you that now. Finally, please know that with BIC, you don't get passed around to a less experienced support team. Our staff leads the field in self-funded experience and in healthcare reform. In fact, we conduct hundreds of hours of professional training every year to other firms, industries, professional associations, HR departments, all in subject matter like managed care, healthcare reform, self-funded plans, installation of corporate wellness programs and incentive programs, ethics, and more. When you need experience, we are the place to be. With over 25 years of selling, designing, building, and even defending self-funded plans in federal court, you're in the best possible place for quality representation of today's leading carriers in self-funding, stop-loss, medical management, and all the aspects of health insurance and benefits. This is why we have many of the leading carriers giving us general agent contracts where they help pay us to distribute product to you without taking any money out of your pocket as the broker. With BIC, you have expert, hands-on attention as we succeed only if you succeed. Your success is truly our only way to succeed. Now, I know this webinar has been brief, and we've done it this way on purpose. We really want to keep it short so that we can open this up now and get whatever questions you may have. And of course, we'll follow up and dig a lot deeper later on. Okay, it looks like my first question that has come in today is that I keep talking about BIC products, and somebody would like to know what they are. And I guess I probably should tell you, since that's really the core focus of what we do is deliver products and technology, and I've kind of neglected the product part throughout this presentation. So let me talk a little bit about that. Benefit Indemnity Corporation is really an affiliate company of Client First Brokerage Services. We've been in the marketplace and selling self-funded products for about 25 to 26 years now, and we've focused on small group self-funding for most of that time frame. And BIC is now actually a U.S. Virgin Islands captive insurer. We'll participate in some of the products we sell, but very little so far. But one of the things that BIC does that's probably of the greatest impact is creative plan designs. Over the years of selling health insurance and probably billions, or at least $1 billion, let's say, of volume in group benefits in the last 25 years, we've actually had the opportunity to gain some pretty strong insights on what is a good value benefit to deliver to employees, what employers like to see and feel, and how the plans are delivered to their employees. So we use plan designs in our own creativity to actually build products that are effective in selling for customers, and that helps our brokers. So Benefit Indemnity Corporation has created the Revolution series, our most recent series of products and our current series of products. They're underwritten by A-rated carriers or better, so we always have a good stop-loss carrier in place, an excellent administrator, and we design small group self-funded plans for that marketplace that have some very creative edges in their plan design. And that's probably room for another seminar, or even better yet, for our individual discussions for those of you that want to reach out and touch base with me at the end of the program. So from there, I think that certainly helps. We do have a lot of other independent products. We work with Star Market Assurance, Cigna, United Healthcare, our own products, and a couple of independent managing general underwriters, as well as multiple stop-loss carriers for the large group business. So when I talk about product, it's pretty broad scale. If you're looking at the self-funded markets, we're likely be able to find the product that fits your customer. So thank you. Keep in mind, please, that if you have a question, you can still type it in. I have another question now from the Midwest that says, exactly how does this relationship work? And again, that's important to know. The relationship that you would develop as a producer with BIC is simply that. You're a producer. We're functioning as a shop that provides tools and general agent contracts to help deliver product to you that solves needs for your customer. So there's no heavy-handed contracts, there's no burden, there's no fee charged up front, there's no fee even after it's done. The reality is what we're going to do is help you reduce the barriers to get your customers the value of self-funding. By doing so, we create a whole lot of tangential benefit, but we get paid by helping you succeed. I have a question from Carolina now asking about the group sizes that we work and where this is most effective. And let me tell you, the answer to that is pretty broad. Typically, As I mentioned early on, I think that we work from 5 to infinity. So almost any group size can take advantage of this. But as most of you know, as we get into larger and larger groups, filling out the full enrollment portal online gets a little bit more cumbersome. They'd rather rate by experience and upload a census, and we can certainly do that too, and we can use our technology to help you with an exchange portal for adding voluntary benefits and whatever you like in the group. So group size, the absolute sweet spot in this program for what we're doing is 15 to 150. But I encourage you, please, if you have a group smaller than 15 or larger than 500, or anything over 150, you really should talk to us about how we can use these tools to be of advantage to you on that type of group as well, because we really do have a lot of flexibility. But yes, the sweet spot, 15 to 150 in many states across the country. Okay, I have another question here from one of our newer local agents that's asking about the turnaround time and what this takes. And I think in today's world that underwriting process is going to become foreign to most people. But what we will see is that we have better turnaround times than we have ever had before. One of the great advantages to using an online portal to do the enrollment process is that questions can't be left blank. The enrollment form has to be complete before it's registered as complete. So we won't take an electronic signature until it's done. And once it is done, we get a solid electronic signature. And if an employee comes in and changes something or edits something, we re-sign it later on. And we have electronic date stamps and ISP addresses on everything that's ever done. So the record keeping is cleaner. The security is better than having paper floating around offices. And it's faster. I have some agents that have learned to use our system that swear they will never fill out another paper application. So let's talk about hard knocks. The first step is to fill out a quick client enrollment form. We open up a portal for them. We send out the employer code to the HR manager. The HR manager can then distribute that with some information to their employee population. And the first time slot that we have to talk about is how long it takes to get the employees online to complete the process. That could be anywhere from 15 to 25 minutes per employee to go in and do that process. The question is, how much responsiveness does the employer have? Is this going to take it 3 days to get 35 employees in, or is this going to take 3 weeks? That's somewhat out of our control. That's much more a function of what the broker and the employer relationship looks like and what the employer-employee relationship looks like. So let's get through that process first. I will tell you that it is considerably faster than paper, even given those considerations. So first we get everybody into the portal and getting them signed up. We can set up a portal in 10 minutes, so we can have them ready to go. Then the employer does that process, and it takes anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks, let's say. Once we have those completed applications in, we can, at a snapshot glance, look at the prescription utilization of the group, the body mass index of the group, any particular medical conditions in the group. We can do the entire gambit and make sure we have an initial glance ready to go to underwriters from various sources. Then, if there's no real obvious deal breakers in the case, we'll submit that case to multiple underwriters, and typically 3 to 4 days is the longest time frame we'll have to start getting underwriting answers and rates back in our hands. From that point, we can get those rates to you so that the employer and you can make a final buying decision on which carrier or which product they want. Once you do that, the great thing is, remember, we already have the enrollment finished. The employees are already in. So we need the group paperwork. We need the check from the employer. You need to make sure you go through the wage and tax like we always do. We have to have those things done. But the employee enrollments are already done. We can then open the exchange portal and allow the employee to go back online and select Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, or Plan D, depending on the carrier. Some of our carriers will offer 2 options. Some of our carriers will actually allow the employer to offer 4 different benefit levels to the same group, so the employees have their own exchange-like environment to go in and pick the health benefit plan that fits their family the best. So the reality is I've had cases done in less than a week, from ground zero to sold to installed. Of course, the installation process, we have to wait a couple of days after that for ID cards, but the reality is 7 days from a census to actual sold commitment from the broker and from the carrier. But I've also seen it take 60 days. So it really depends upon your commitment and that of your employer. A lot like the existing process, only streamlined with all of our electronic tools. All right, I have another question from California this time, and the question is, who am I contracted with? And I think that's a very good question, because at BIC, we're working with independent producers. You represent your customer. We simply provide you tools and mechanics to do a better job at it. And as I mentioned earlier, there's no heavy-handed contracts. There's no burdensome thing. All we're asking is that when you use our technology, you're placing business with our carriers, you submit it through us so that we all get paid. It's just that easy. Got another question from Georgia this time, and the question is, this technology scares me. Many of my clients don't really have that much computer savvy. And I run into this question a lot, and I hear it more than I see it, because when we hear the objection and we talk about it a little bit, by the time we're finished, everybody recognizes that all of these employees that don't claim to have computer access all have Facebook accounts, so clearly they're somewhere on the computer. And when that doesn't happen, we have found on occasion that a broker or a local office will actually go out with their own laptop and sit down with employees and do the enrollment in the portal through laptops. So we've had employers actually support that with a kiosk in the employer's site or a cubicle somewhere with a computer set up, and somebody to help coach them through the process. And we've had brokers go out and do it as well. Don't let the technology talk scare you. It's a real simple. If you can fill out a form to buy a t-shirt from Amazon, you can go online and fill out these questions. And unlike anything you've ever seen before, when your employee fills out an enrollment form and they have a particular medical condition and they can't remember the name of the drug or how to spell it, which is most often the case, in our case, when they select a medical condition and they go to find the drugs, they're going to get a drop-down menu of all of the most commonly prescribed drugs for that particular ailment, making these applications cleaner and more complete than you've ever seen before. So you've got to really embrace the technology as an advantage and a streamline. Don't let it scare you, because it's really nothing complicated. I've got a question from a broker in D.C. asking about commissions, and that's actually a good question as well, but I can't really answer it because we offer multiple products and multiple arrangements throughout this system. We don't represent just the major carriers, but we also build some of our own products, and we work with a number of managing general underwriters around the country that can build custom plans. So when we talk about commissions, we have to look at each one directly. In the small group market, the commissions are going to range anywhere from a certain percentage of the fixed cost to 6 or 7% of the maximum self-funded or maximum fully insured equivalent of that self-funded plan. So we're going to have commissions that, trust me, will be adequate to make sure you're doing well in the marketplace. But in the larger group, they're typically negotiated, and you manage whatever commission you want in the account. You make it competitive, and of course you don't abuse your client. And commissions are just one of those things that speak for themselves when we start writing more business. Another question that we've got from the audience is about the lack of experience in self-funding, that they really don't understand self-funding completely, and can they still use this technology if they don't? And the answer to that is yes. One of the things that I mentioned kind of at the closing of our presentation is that BIC has expertise in self-funding for over 25 years now. We've built plans, we've designed plans, we've distributed them to thousands of agents and hundreds or actually thousands of groups as well. So after representing probably $1 billion worth of health insurance premium over the last 25 years, we have to tell you that we can help coach you through the self-funded process, train those that need it, hold the hands of those that need that, and certainly for those of you out there that really are well-informed and self-funded, we can be your backup support team. So regardless of what level you are in the self-funded knowledge base, the real key is your energy and desire to write more business. If you have any more questions out there, please type them in. We're going to wrap up pretty soon today, but I want to make sure you get this final message that I know you have a lot more to learn and you'll need more information, but we thought we'd get this far first. After this, we'll be accepting inquiries from many of you for select distribution partners and producers around the country. I need you to call me or email me personally to discuss the opportunity to use our tools, our technology, and our products to help grow your business. If we all find that we have a good match and we think it's going to work, then the next step will lead us to more detailed teleconferences and demonstrations of the technology and all the materials that we use. So again, please call me or email me. The information is on your screen, and we'll be happy to talk to you about that. In fact, we're going to leave this information on the screen while we take one or two more questions if they come in. Actually, I think we have one now. Okay, I've got another question, this time from Virginia. And they apparently are used to working with a certain product and want to know if they have their own custom product or company that they work with locally, can we include that in the exchange? And frankly, the answer is most often yes. We need cooperation from the carrier, but most of the carriers are really embracing what we do. Remember, we're working with United Healthcare. I think we're their only GA in the country. We're working with various other carriers from Assurant and Starmark and our own products that we build. And I think you're going to find some really neat things that we can do that will, in fact, impress your local carriers when you have one so that we can integrate that into the system for you. We have one more question that we're going to take today. We have a couple of more. I think we've covered most of it, but as we promised at the beginning of today's webinar, we will come back to all of you with questions on any of the emailed questions that come into us, and we'll get them back out so that everybody has the questions. But again, I'd really love it if you just give me a call, ask whatever questions you have remaining. I've got another question from Virginia, and this time it's asking about healthcare reform and whether these products comply with everything that's needed in healthcare reform. And frankly, I think we should probably, once we get those partners that really want to distribute for us, we'll do a seminar on healthcare reform and really talk about what we're doing in that regard. But the answer is simple, and it's yes. We have products that are designed to qualify as health plans to deliver minimum essential coverage on a valuable and affordable basis so your customers can afford to deliver health care and an offer to their employees that is valuable and affordable so that they look at none of the employer mandate penalties, Part A and Part B penalties. They'll be absolved from that through the delivery of quality products that everyone can afford. And that's really key. We've done a lot of extensive research and some legal opinions to find you innovative benefit plans that'll be about 40% of the cost of a traditional platinum plan and yet deliver quality coverage that's valuable and affordable under the law. With that being said, I think we're pretty much wrapping up for today just because I don't want to keep everybody much longer. But again, my email address, my contact information is still on your screen. Please give me a call at your convenience. Thank you very much, everyone. I hope we've done a good job for you.
Hi, thank you for accessing today's webinar. For a bit of housekeeping, please note that you can email questions through